I'm here to give you 6 essential tips, especially for beginners, and also maybe for some of you more experienced people that are a little bit stuck. My name is Doug Beck. I've mixed and remixed some of the biggest artists in the world. I've composed, produced, and mixed thousands of television cues for over 100 television shows worldwide. Tip number one, just start. Just start. I'm sure the computer that you have is just fine. There's a ton of free resources online, all kinds of free software out there. You don't need to spend a lot of money. I'll tell you a quick story about my own analysis paralysis that I have experienced very recently. This very channel that I've started very recently, I think this is video number 3, was in the planning stages for over a year. And I used every excuse to put it off. Oh, I got to get the right camera. I got to, find the right angle. I lost months of my life just over analyzing everything. So, my advice to you as a new music producer is just start, just get going with the bare minimum that you have, keeping in mind that people have been making music with far less tools than we have available right now. This phone has more processing power than, what the Beatles used. You don't need to wait for the right gear. You don't need to wait for the perfect microphone. You don't need to wait for the perfect plugin. Just get started, because the quicker you get started, the quicker you're going to get better. Tip number 2, give yourself deadlines. I can't stress this enough, man. Deadlines are so important. I don't think I ever got any music really done until I actually had a deadline. You just keep going back and rehashing it and overthinking it as you grow and as you get clients and as you start making records and making tracks for whatever genre or world you're in. You are going to have deadlines. So get used to it now. My advice would be, and what helped me early on, if I was going to sit down and write for the day or do a track, I would finish that track in that day, regardless. And that changed everything. Number one, I finished more tracks, way more tracks. And were all of them great? No, of course not. But as you go and you build your catalog, they're going to get better and better. Set a deadline for yourself. Tell yourself, you know what? Whatever it is, even if you have a full-time job and you just produce on the weekends, you say, okay, today's Saturday, I'm going to start a new track. Start it and finish it, beginning to end. I guarantee you won't be sorry. You'll get more music done. In the end, it's going to benefit you greatly. Tip number 3, watch online tutorials. There's so many good ones. These days, we're so lucky to be able to pretty much Google any subject and find a plethora of videos and resources where we can learn. Now, you got to be careful because it can be overwhelming. And I ran into this when I was, learning how to put together this music channel. I would go on and look at these tutorials. And sometimes I would get so overwhelmed by just the sheer amount of stuff that went into it. But the fact is, start slow. Take your time, watch some tutorials, and learn at your own pace. Tip number 4, find a mentor if possible. This was really key for my success. When I was in New York City making tracks in my bedroom, I met these guys at Real Time Recording in New York. They were popular remixers, and they brought me into their world and mentored me and got me from here to here much quicker than it would have happened without a mentor. If you have the ability to reach out to somebody who's already doing this, who's already doing what you want to do, whether it be someone online or a friend or someone in your community, try it. Hang around the people that are doing what you want to do. There's a variety of places you can find mentors. You can find one online. You can find them at schools. You can find them in recording studios in your community. Take some time, search out some people that are doing what you want to do and reach out to them and see about mentorships. It's a great way to really take you great steps ahead much quicker than doing it on your own. Tip number 5, do a lot of critical listening. You want success. You need to listen to the music in your genre for the mix quality, the production quality. Listen to that stuff because that's also how you get better, using references, listening to people you admire, listening to their records, picking up little production tricks, little mix tricks. Critical listening is super important. I would recommend 15 minutes before you are going to start working on a track or a record or a song that you just listen to some of your favorite references to get your head tuned up and get yourself ready to write or produce for that day. And finally, tip number 6, don't compare your success with other people. It's really difficult not to do that. You know, you're starting now or you're here. If you compare yourself to the guy that's already got a million streams and you're doing that all day, you're going to get discouraged. A little bit of ignorance is bliss here. You know, stay focused on your own work. I watched 3 or 4 of my friends become rock stars, you know, big rock stars. And I was working as a product specialist for Korg in the keyboard department. And so that would sometimes mess with my head. And what I finally did was I finally just let it go. And as soon as I let it go and I didn't think about that, things started to happen for me in my career. Don't compare your beginning to somebody else's middle. It's a surefire way to discourage yourself and take the wind out of your sails. Just put your head down and get to work. Bonus tip number 7, and this is the most important. Have fun with the process, man. It's music, right? We got into it for the love of music. We get into it for the love of doing it. It's got to be fun. Find a way to make it fun. If you're getting frustrated, take a break, but it's got to be fun. Thanks for checking out this video. This is my brand new music production channel. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Also, leave me a comment and tell me what kind of things you'd like to discuss in this. I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to learn from you guys out there, and I'd love to be able to teach you what I know. Come back often. Leave me a comment. Be good and make music.